We're now going back on the record. The time is now 1:53.
I want to, after we've had a chance to digest lunch, return to Exhibit 2, which has been previously marked, and I think you testified that you were the author of this document, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes, I'm sorry.
That's all right. Are all of the statements in this Exhibit number 2 accurate?
Yes, as far as I can recall.
Thank you. Did you send this 302, this Form 302, which is Exhibit 2, to Special Agent Carmody?
Yes.
All right. And did you have a discussion with Special Agent Carmody about this after you sent it to him?
He never called me back.
Okay. There are accusations made about the special agent who was running the case that that the person you were speaking with, and one was that he should have retired 2 years ago but was granted extensions, that he was exaggerating the facts about the case, and that he was out of his element working a terrorism case because he always worked interstate theft violations. Did you report these accusations about the case agent to anyone?
No.
All right. Did you believe at the time you were speaking to this person that is the subject of this Exhibit 2 that that person was a suspect in a terrorism case?
Yes, I knew he was.
Okay. You knew he was?
I knew he was.
Okay. Very good. Were accused by your colleagues or former colleagues of refusing to record more than one Muslim on more than one occasion, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And one of the accusations was made by Agent Wright, and we're going to talk about that, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And the other accusation was made by an FBI agent in Tampa, Florida, by the name of Barry Carmody, correct?
He never made the allegations to me.
Well, in fairness, Mr. Wright never made the allegation to you either, did he?
Well, he made it to colleagues, to the media. I haven't seen Mr. Carmody making these allegations.
Well, I'll try to help you on that.
That would be great.
Okay. You attended the American Muslim Council Convention on June 26th of 1998, did you not?
Yes, sir.
All right. And at that convention, you met a gentleman by the name of Sami Alarian.
Yes, sir.
All right. And Mr. Alarian at that convention told you that he had previously called you and wanted to talk to you, correct?
Let me just make one comment.
Okay.
The case of Mr. Alarian is still in court.
To go off the record for a second.
Sure.
This is information.
We're now going off the record. The time is now 11:34.
Sure.
We are now going back on the record. The time is now 11:38.
Okay, there was a question that was on the table, and then you interposed a comment, and then we had the break. The question was that at this American Muslim Council Convention on June 26, 1998, Mr. Sami Alarian came up to you, talked to you, said that he'd called you and wanted to speak with you, correct?
I was instructed by the representative of the FBI not to discuss any ongoing investigations or any investigations relating to other field offices of fear that it's involved in other people who are still under investigation. And I believe that I have supplied you with a copy of a 302 that's in your hand, and whatever the FBI released out of the redaction on this, that's what we're going to stick with.
Who was this representative of the FBI that instructed you not to say anything to Mr. Alarian about any ongoing investigations?
the question again, please?
Yeah. What was the name of the representative of the FBI who instructed you, I take it in the June of 1998 time period, not to have any conversations with Mr. Arian?
No. The representative of the FBI now told me not to discuss this case, which is Mr. J. Gregory.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, not them.
Not them.
No,
okay.
not them.
All right. Fair enough. Well, we'll just go on a question-by-question basis.
Yes, sir.
And see what you will answer and what you won't answer.
Well, I'm willing to answer all of them, but I'm under instructions not to get into any investigative matters.
Well, and that's between you and your employer. I mean, I'm just trying to defend the lawsuit.
I understand, sir.
So we know that you and Mr. Alarian were at this American Muslim Council convention on June 26, 1998, correct? You've already testified to that.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, the question is, did he seek to speak with you?
Yes.
All right. And did you speak with him?
Yes.
All right. And did you write up a 302, as you pointed out here a second ago?
Yes, sir.
All right. And is that 302, which I suppose I should show you, make this Exhibit 2, okay? I've handed you Exhibit 2, which is a FBI Form 302, and at the bottom it says that it was authored by yourself. Would that be accurate?
Yes, sir.
And was it authored by you on the date indicated, which was June 30, 1998?
Yes, sir.
All right. And is this the 302 that reports on your contact with Sami Alarian?
Well, his name is not here, so I cannot confirm the name of the person that I have investigated. This is a 302 that was authored, and the FBI chose to redact certain names and information. So I'm not in liberty to go any further with the names.
Okay. So you're refusing to provide any of the information that is redacted from this 302, correct?
I am not refusing to provide. I'm under instructions not to. I would love to win my lawsuit against your client,
right?
But I am not willing to win that at the expense of my liberty of being imprisoned for unauthorization of disclosure of certain information.
Okay, not to mention that they might fire you.
Well, that will be the first thing. Then we'll be going to jail after that.
Okay. You said a minute ago that this Sami Alarian is an ongoing case or something of that nature, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. And in fact, you know, and it was publicly revealed that Sami Alarian was indicted for various acts of terrorism, correct?
Yes.
All right. And that case has proceeded to trial in Tampa, Florida, correct?
That I'm aware of, yes.
All right. And closing arguments have been made, correct?
I'm not sure of that.
Okay. And the jury has the case. You don't know whether the jury has the case or not?
I'm not aware of that.
All right. You are aware, and it's been publicly disclosed in court, that Barry Carmody was the case agent, the FBI case agent that was on the Sami Alarian matter, correct?
I'm aware of that.
All right. And you are aware that Mr. Carmody requested you to record a conversation with one of the suspects in that investigation.
Yes.
All right. And you refused to do so, correct?
No.
Well, tell me about your conversation with Mr. Carmody in that regard.
I advised Mr. Carmody that an individual contacted me whom he is the case agent on.
Right.
And I told Mr. Carmody that this individual requested if I can find someone in FBI headquarters that can answer some questions for this individual. I advised that individual that I'm not in headquarters, and usually what happened in Washington and in New York, in Texas, we don't know much about. But I promised them that I will get back to him. I advised my acting supervisor at that time, and I immediately advised Mr. Carmody's supervisor, who told me that Mr. Carmody will get a hold of me. Mr. Carmody requested that I would call the individual back, and he gave me 5 or 6 questions to ask the individual in the conversation. I advised Mr. Carmody that in order for me to plug in 5 or 6 questions to this individual, a conversation of about 15-20 minutes need to take place. Therefore, I need to find what are the parameters of the conversation, since I'm not aware of any case, I'm not aware of the details of the case, any allegations, what this individual is involved in is not my case. I want it outlined in parameters from the AUSA. Mr. Carmody, who asked me to call the AUSA, he said that the AUSA is just saying stay away from any investigative matters. I told them that this will become discoverable, and this will cause some problems if I'm not aware of what's going on. Then Mr. Carmody's supervisor called my Assistant Special Agent in Charge, Mr. Robert Garrity, and told him that we need Gamal to do that phone call because we think that the individual is trying to co-opt someone within the FBI. My special agent in charge told me that this will cause me, although this will cause me some problems for losing credibility with the community and other people that I speak with, he instructed me to go ahead and do the phone call. In order for me to do that, I have to do paperwork. I did the paperwork, and before the paperwork was signed by the acting supervisor, my supervisor, who was out of town, arrived. He refused to sign the paperwork. I advised him that Mr. Garrity is the one who ordered it. He said, no, we don't do consensual monitoring on this international terrorism squad. We're not a white-collar crime squad. Therefore, it's not going to happen, and I will speak to Mr. Garrity. I left the matter. A few days later, I asked him if he spoke to Mr. Garrity about this. He said, no, I forgot. I will talk to him today. He spoke to him the same day, and Mr. Garrity told him, no, I want Gamal to do it. I was told to do it. I did the paperwork all over again. My supervisor signed it. Mr. Garrity signed it. I made the phone call to the individual's office with the presence of the primary relief supervisor on my squad. And the individual was not in his office. His secretary answered, and she said that he is in Washington, D.C. attending a conference. I wrote a communication to Mr. Carmody, and I sent him a copy of the tape. That's as far as I'm going to go.
Who was the supervisor? Robert Garrity was the acting supervisor who...
No, Robert Garrity was the Assistant Special Agent in Charge in the Dallas Division.
Okay. Who was the supervisor that said that you should go ahead and record this Muslim terrorist suspect?
The one that called Garrity
Okay.
from Tampa, J. Coroner.
J.
Coroner, Korner.
Okay. All right. And what role did Mr. Coroner play? Was he an FBI or a U.S. attorney?
No, he was an FBI supervisor.
FBI supervisor in Tampa.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then who was it that came back and said, no, we don't do consensual monitoring?
That was my squad supervisor in Dallas, Ron Patton.
And Ron Patton said to you, we don't do consensual monitoring on international terrorism.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And the end result of it was that you called this person that Carmody wanted you to do a tape recording of a conversation.
Yes, sir.
And you got his secretary.
Yes, sir.
And she said he's not here. He's
And I
in
left
Washington.
a message. I advised her who I am, and to advise him that I called.
And what happened after that? And so she took the message.
She took the message. It was on tape.
Okay.
I identified myself on the tape, and a primary relief supervisor who was with me in the room identified himself on the tape before we started the phone call.
So you started the phone call saying, hey, it's the FBI calling?
No, we started the tape.
I see.
Then we dialed the number and we made the phone call.
Okay. And who was it that was on the tape when you started it?
It was Pete Moore.
Okay. And this was a secretary at the University of South Florida that you called that answered?
I'm not sure where she was.
Okay.
I just called the office number that I had.
Okay. And you left a message and you never got a call back?
No, she said he will be gone for a week.
Okay. And you never got a call back?
I never got a call back. The second day I traveled to Washington to attend that conference, and he met me there.
Okay. And so your 302 that we have here that's marked as Exhibit 2 was subsequent to this telephone call that you had made to the suspect's
Yes.
office. Okay. So you see him at the conference. You talk to him. He says he didn't get your message, but that...
he said he did get my message.
Well, look at your 302. First paragraph. Advised Abdel Hafiz that he did not receive this message. Abdel Hafiz advised the suspect, we'll call him, that he, the suspect, could call him when he returns to his office next week.
Yes.
Was that accurate at the time?
That's accurate. I told him that I called him, and he said, because that was I believe the next day after the phone call, and he said he did not get the message, but thank you for calling me anyway. Something like that. Okay.
And so the suspect says, hey, you can call me when I return to my office next week, correct? That's what your 302 says. Abdel Hafiz advised the suspect that he, the suspect, could call him when he returns to his office next week.
I'm the one who told him that he can call me when he returned to his office next week.
Okay, all right. So what you're saying, you're telling the suspect you can call me. Right?
Yes.
And did he ever call you?
No.
And did you ever make an effort to call him?
Well, because he continued to tell me what he wanted to tell me right there. I was hoping that he would say, okay, let's talk on the phone next week, and I will do what I started to do 2 days before.
Okay. And do you know whether this suspect, who I will suggest to you, has been publicly revealed in multiple courtroom testimony, including this document being in evidence, is Sami Alarian? You don't have to confirm that. But did this suspect tell you that he was interested in talking to you?
Not after.
Not after this?
Yeah, after we talked.
All right. And after this June 30, 1998, 302, is it a fact or not that Mr. Carmody, after this contact, asked you to record Mr. Suspect, Mr. Terrorism Suspect?
No.
No. Okay.
Mr. Carmody never contacted me after that.
Okay. So then it would be totally false to say that you refused to record this terrorism suspect, who I will tell you is Sami Alarian, a Muslim. That would be false, right?
That's absolutely false.
Okay. And you say that you never heard that Mr. Carmody had ever made this allegation publicly?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Until this very moment?
Until this very moment.
Okay. Let's make this Exhibit 3.
I read this. Who did he make this to?
Well, we're going to get to that.
Okay.
I take it you've never seen this before?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, you've never seen it before?
Yeah, I never seen it before.
Okay. It says in the second paragraph, from 1995 through February of 2000, and in the course of conducting a lawful investigation within the jurisdiction of the FBI's Tampa office, I had occasion to seek the assistance of an FBI special agent assigned to the Dallas FBI office. In that time period, you were assigned to the Dallas FBI office, correct?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Carmody, in that time period, sought your assistance, as you've just described, correct?
Yes.
All right. It goes on to say, this sworn statement, or this declaration, I asked Special Agent Blank to record a telephone conversation during a meeting with an individual involved in an open FBI criminal investigation. Special Agent Blank refused to record this telephone conversation, saying he would make the call but would not record it. I said this was unsatisfactory. It had been discussed with the United States Attorney's Office in Tampa, and we required a recorded conversation. He still refused to record the conversation. Special Agent Blank's refusal to record the telephone conversation may have had negatively impacted the conduct of the FBI's investigation. I informed FBI headquarters twice about this incident in 1998 and again in 2000, but I am aware of no disciplinary action being taken against him in this matter. In fact, I have been told that Special Agent Robert Wright had a similar experience with Special Agent Blank in the course of his subsequent investigation he pursued. Did I read that correctly?
Yes, sir.
All right. And it is true that on May 30th of 2002, that Mr. Wright held a press conference at which he described an experience that he'd had with the FBI with a Muslim agent who he accused of refusing to record another Muslim, correct?
I heard of that news conference. I did not see it.
Okay. Were you aware that news conference that Mr. Wright participated in was broadcast over the C-SPAN cable channel to a nationwide audience?
Not that I'm aware of.
All right.
I know that was somewhere on TV, but I was overseas at that time.
Okay.
That's why.
All right. And in subsequently investigating this lawsuit and the claims that you're making here, did you determine that in fact Mr. Wright had released a sworn statement and attended a press conference on or about May 30 of 2002?
I know that he held a news conference. I am not aware that my name was mentioned in it.
Right. He held a news conference, and the date of that news conference was on or about May 30, 2002, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. And I think you're right that your name was not mentioned, but he did speak about a Muslim agent,
yes, sir,
who had refused to record another Muslim, correct?
Yeah, he mentioned that.
All right. Do you have any doubt in your mind that he was talking about you?
I don't believe I have a doubt. No.
Okay. And when Mr. Carmody issues the declaration that he did on that same day, and I will tell you it was read at the press conference. Do you have any doubt in your mind that Mr. Carmody was speaking about you in this declaration, which is Exhibit 3?
It's very possible that he was talking about me.
Okay. Let me